Hello everybody and welcome to this, your Gemini February 2025 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel Saint James, Clairvoyant. Well, I have a great deck for you this month. It's painted by a guy called Luigi Scalapini, I think it is. A modern artist, but the art is Renaissance and has subject matter which deals with things to do with European history and culture. And I think we'll both enjoy it as we go through it. Now, you know, of course, that I provide clairvoyant readings to people who are all over the world via FaceTime and Skype. And if you might be interested to see what's involved in that, just check out the information that's in the description at the end of the video. It goes for about an hour and a half. I charge for those, but what I do not charge for, and which go for about 45 minutes over FaceTime and Skype, is the spiritual gift of healing. Now, you might say that, look, if you're not charging for it, if it's free, then it can't be any good. But the fact of the matter is this, is that the whole... It was given to me on the basis that I get nothing in return for it. I have a duty, I have an obligation to provide it because it comes through me and not from me, you see. And so nothing will be sold or recommended, or there's no catches or anything like that. It's free. There might be some emotional issues that you have, something physical. You might just be at your wit's end or at the end of your tether as to what's going on with you in your life. It's a pretty open slate. The purpose of the thing is to provide relief and comfort, of course. So if this is speaking out to you, I do a lot of people every day from this channel. So you're not alone. And if it does call to you, then don't be shy. Just reach out to me and I'm very happy to set up a time for you and I to do it. It takes about 45 minutes, I think, as a general rule. Sometimes a bit longer. It depends. Sometimes. Now, there are no video advertisements in this, so you get to enjoy the content direct and without any interruptions. So show me the magic. The Hermit, the Three of Cups. What's this? The King of Cups. You can see what I mean by this Renaissance thing. Queen of Swords. I love the Queen of Swords, always love that card. And what is there here? Four of Coins. Well, I'll bring the camera around, shall I, so that you can have a good look at the art while I pick up what's going on, and we'll have a look at them together while I do the reading for you. Well, let's go through this together, shall we? What's going on here? This is an air card, which goes very well with you, which I think has got to do with this person here. Now, these can be either male or female, these court cards, of course. This has got to do with that, and that is leading into that, and there's great love and power and security coming your way. But let me just have a look at, why are you here like this? A lot of Libra around here, so I think you are in the process of bringing balance into your life. Now, she's quite a stern-looking figure, spindly hands holding this sword, which I'm sure you will use, probably with respect to this person here, I think, sitting on a Gothic column. Oh, these look like two witches on broomsticks flying around there. This is a time when you will be, I think, very graceful, very perceptive, a very keen observer of what is going on around you, very individualistic, and I think also very confident and gracious. There is here also a time when you are going to be cutting through old patterns, old beliefs, and old roles. There is, in the process here, and probably to do with this Hermit as well, a clarity that's coming to you. You'll be very objective, rational, setting aside your masks and renouncing the security that's offered by playing out familiar roles that you've learned. And that means, of course, that you voluntarily give up habitual defense mechanisms. Now, by using this sword of penetrating insight, you will come to recognize that the masks, the beliefs, the patterns that you wear and that you are imbued with, they don't only protect and camouflage you at some times, but they can also separate you from the real you, and also other people. And the energetic cutting through of your masks frees you. And this is leading you out of the surrounding clouds into clarity and openness, particularly with respect to other people. Now, I do think that this is a time that you'll come to realize that when you think from your past memories, you can only create past experiences. And change is a choice. Make change a choice instead of a reaction. You know, really, we are addicted to our beliefs, don't you think? We are addicted to the emotions of the past. You see your beliefs as truths, not ideas that you can change. And if you have very strong beliefs about something, there could be evidence to the contrary that might be sitting right in front of you, but you may not see it, because what you take on board through the prism of your beliefs is entirely different. In a sense, maybe you have conditioned yourself to believe all sorts of things that aren't necessarily true about people or about events, and many of these things could and probably are having a negative impact on your happiness. And certainly cultural beliefs come into play there, as well as traditions. Don't feel bound by the words of dead men. The words of dead men are what produce traditions. In fact, I think that you are going to be called upon to use that fine mind of yours to make an unbiased decision. That's that Libra concept about a situation or a person. Now, compassion and empathy, they could distract you, so you must go with your head at the moment and not with your heart. This is not a time to be indecisive. It's a time to decide, use that sword and act. And I do see you cutting through old patterns. And you'll have the courage of your convictions going forward. I think that you're in the process of separating yourself more and more from old roles of behavior patterns. This could bring some uncomfortable experiences with it, but it's worth it because the clarity that you gain, it really frees you. Now, what are the roles and beliefs that you most easily and most often hide behind, and are you ready to drop them? Look at yourself in different roles. Some of them you'll continue to play, but now with more awareness that you're actually playing them, and you will play them until you no longer identify yourself with them. But remember this at this time, and say it, that my only duty in life is to remain true to myself. And as I say, the person I think that could be causing you some trouble or some sadness is either a male or a female, as the court cards can be either. Let's have a look at it. Probably a grown-up male and female. Now here is some, actually, if I look at this and take it as the Renaissance, it looks like a pope. I think it was Pope Leo X who was the big man in town around there. At the foot of his of the picture here, there are attempts, I suppose, or working drawings of the Mona Lisa by Da Vinci. This is the dome of the Vatican. He's holding a papal tiara here. This top ring, the middle ring, and the bottom ring. The top ring, I think, refers to the natural world. The middle ring, I think, refers to your place in the world and your exercise of free will. And the bottom one refers to the other side, the spirit. This looks like an angel here with seashells decorating it for the King of Cups. Now, king, esoterically, is fire. And in the suit of water, there are, I think, problems. Sadly, I have to say here. This is someone who could be bringing about some sadness here, because this is somebody who is really attracted, irrationally so, to people or projects. Someone that's actually sensitive, but really quite shallow. Somebody who is unreliable. Someone that's kind of passive, even though they have a good nature, I think. Somebody who, if you look at their record, is something of an unbroken record in relationships and with work. It's almost like it's an unbroken record of mismanagement and disappointment. They do mismanage their affairs. We have fire and water there, so it would not surprise me if there were not mental civil wars going on within them, which can lead to discussions with you that can cause you some sadness or pain or disappointment. And the person is really passive in a way, but it's almost passive-aggressive. Very superficial. It's hard to reach the person's depth. It's as if their name is written in water. And it's also somebody that, and please, the lesbian and gay audience, make the necessary adjustment here. Strangely enough, this is someone who is really attractive to the opposite sex. And of course, they love the opposite sex themselves because they're very charming, very alluring, but they're ruled by emotions, not very practical, and you might find them unfaithful, fickle, shallow, highly emotional, and unreliable, which brings about, I guess, a sense of sadness with you. But I suppose that the message here is to just detach. Are you feeling sad? Well, befriend that sadness. Have a compassion for it. Sadness also has a being. Allow it. Embrace it. Sit with it. Hold hands with it. Be friendly. In a way, be in love with it. Sadness is beautiful. It's one side of the coin, and on the other side of the coin, there is joy. And if you are sitting at your kitchen table with sadness, then asleep on the couch in the other room, ready to wake up and come bursting in, is joy. Now, probably people have told you that there's something wrong with being sad, but sadness gives you depth. Laughter, in a sense, is shallow. Happiness is sort of skin deep, but sadness goes to the very bones, right into the marrow. Nothing goes as deep as sadness. But if this other person is causing this within you, don't react, because reaction is dominated by the other person. If they insult you, you get angry, and then you act out of anger. This is a reaction. You are not an independent person there, as you are turning into through this energy here. Anybody you see could pull you this way or that way if you don't have control of your life. If you are easily affected by people, you can be blackmailed emotionally. Reaction, in a sense, is an emotional blackmail. You are not angry, but this person may have insulted you or caused you some disappointment or sadness, and this created anger in you. Now, out of anger comes your action. I mean, you of all people who are so sociable, you could meet everybody in the world, and yet, do you ever meet yourself? I will say one thing about this person though, and it is this, that they are not in your life for very long. So remember, when God takes out the trash, don't go digging back through it. Trust her. And of course, there are no coincidences, are there? Because with this process of finding yourself, it's sitting below this Hermit, which is saying that you are going to get some alone time and start to look to see who the real you is. Now, this is someone who, look, this is Mount Athos in Greece here. That looks like one of the monasteries is up there. And this is a monk. It looks like the robes and the attire of the monks of Mount Athos. And there's, of course, the lantern, which is usual. He's holding a staff with 7 buds, which are the 7 stages of the rose, from bud until flowering. And there are 2 snakes on it, which is eating their tails, which show infinity. And down here, this is interesting, there's a whale and a ship. Well, that's reminiscent of that Hebrew Bible story, or the old Christian Old Testament story of Jonah, who was thrown overboard by his shipmates because they thought he was bringing bad luck, and he was swallowed by a whale, in which he lived for several days. Now, here we were talking about breaking old patterns, weren't we? When, if ever, do people find themselves if they've had somebody else tell them who they are for all of their formative years? And this is a period where I think you will be searching for the real you. How can I express that? It's as if you have been searching for yourself everywhere, but can't find it. You can't even remember when exactly you lost it. You search for it in everything that you love and hate, in foreign and local, familiar cities, in all the kind, in all the exhausted, and in all the mean faces. You search for yourself near water springs and along river shores, on mountain tops, and in the scent of wild flowers, between the branches of trees, but without any trace or hope. You probably even search in teacups, in the corners of old cafes, in songs, in books, in the memories of everyone who ever knew you, everyone you betrayed or was betrayed by. You search in lines and sentences, but all in vain. You even search unsuccessfully in the sentences that list options, including the examples and each etc. that comes after each list of options. Don't you? Do you find yourself doing that? And you're wondering, how did I so quietly lose it? And each time you ask your loved ones about your strong desire to be reunited with your lost self, you realize that they don't really have any ideas either, other than long lists of places and things, activities, individuals and hobbies where you might possibly find yourself. In each list, they suggest you'll find countless options and countless lines ending with etc. They don't understand that I think that you have turned every rock and searched behind every etc. But now I think you are coming to the realization with this energy that yourself wasn't from here. And so it was never here. That all along you have been searching for an illusion that never existed. You know, you can, as many people do, you can run away from yourself so often and so much just because the broken pieces you cut your feet too deeply on if you stay around for too long. But then, what if someone were to come along and pick up those pieces for you? Then you would not have to run away from yourself anymore. You see, we live in a very fragile era, driven 24/7 with Instagram, emails, work non-stop, everything hassling us all the time. And the fragility of our era is this, that we don't believe that there is a chance for redemption, for a hand to raise you up, for an embrace to save you, to forgive you, to pick you up and flood you with infinite, indulgent love, and put you back on your feet and extend compassion and strength. Where there is, she is there. And then we'll have to move through these pretty quickly because of your time. And this is great for you because it is your planet of Mercury in Cancer. It would be the second decan of Cancer, which is the 2nd to the 11th of July. Overflowing exchange of love for you, rare, valuable feelings and perceptions which you will communicate intimately with people. You have something especially valuable to share, so be open for the people who can share these exquisite feelings with you. They're also a gift. You don't need to look for them. And when it comes to relationships and love, remember that nobody is absolutely perfect for anybody. Actually, what makes somebody right is commitment. Then when you're committed to each other and you have a true conversation, that means you allow the other person to impact upon you and they allow you to impact upon them. You're not stiff and unchanging. You are moved by each other. It's like two stones rubbing together until suddenly they fit. Of course, there are the initial years of sexual attraction, and then something deeper can hook in. Rather than having a relationship with your fantasy of that person, you begin to have a real relationship with them. You've impacted each other enough to actually know each other, and to know someone is to love them. Fantastic romantic bliss I see there, and deepening of relationships. And finally, what's this? Well, this is all about, this is a very materialistic card. It's about foundation, strength, power. Up here we have the Chariot of the Moon. There is a swan in the moonlight. There is a fort. There is a cat in some sort of a prison cell. This looks like Gidget the Flying Nun. Sally Field played that when I was a very small boy, and it was in black and white. Nobody else will remember that. This is the Sun in Capricorn. So this is, Capricorn's a feet on the ground, eye on the prize sort of a sign, really, isn't it? So with the Sun in Capricorn, you are going to have a realistic, grounded approach to life, unsurprisingly, which will be seen no matter what else is going on. Here with the Sun in Capricorn, well, the Sun energizes the Capricorn earth, and material benefits and power are the result. Now, the Sun in astrology is the symbol of your personal dynamism or power. And here, Capricorn is the application of your power in a materially useful way. Strong foundations, stability, maybe protecting yourself financially. But material and financial security are going to be important to you at the present, and fortunately, this promises that you will have that security. Now, you may be tested not to give away your personal power also, which is what we see here. And obviously you won't be doing that anymore because you're getting into your spiritual side and understanding the real you. And you'll also understand how and when to say no to people. Sometimes actually you've got to look at this castle, pull up the drawbridge so you can get into your inner sanctuary. So you don't give too much of yourself away. You say to yourself, I now offer my power in the service of love. What a fantastic spread of cards for you. Makes so much better for you being here. Good. Well, I really enjoyed that art, and I hope that you enjoyed I'm sure that you would have enjoyed the reading as much as I did providing it to you. Now, unless I see you privately, either for a clairvoyant reading or for a healing, then I'll see you here again next month. Now, until then though, remember one thing, and it is this, that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next month. Until then, it's bye for now.